49er mind is
It's not just a thought process, but a way of life.
49er mind. 49er mind.
I can't shake it. It's 49er mind that I got. It's 49er shine that I got. My psyche's on another Frisco Super Bowl. Don't sit slow, cause here we go with a super show. A red and gold session. About a red and gold obsession. With some well-controlled expressions. Let's talk about that win that we got. Who should have been in the spot? That's how it's been in the spot. All that back, all that crack, all that straight fumble sack. Or just dial it on up if you wanna talk smack. It don't matter what the storyline, as long as the story aligns with a 49er mind.
49er mind.
It's not just a thought process,
49er mind.
but a way of life. For sure.
49er mind.
Way of life.
49er mind.
What is up, everybody? This is Bashar 49er Minded, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. But today, it's Ballin with Bash and Ted. I'm Bash. We got Ted right here. How you doing, Ted?
Good, Bash. Happy TG. Happy Faithful Friday. Excited here to chop it up with you as always on our weekly show. And thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah, man. It's always great to do the Friday edition of Ballin with Bash and Ted. And I see the new visor. You got a new visor going on, huh?
Yeah, I bought a few new ones. There was another one that I had on earlier this week. It's sort of like a gray speckle one with a little red in it. And then I bought a couple from a site that I hadn't really seen before. I actually paid more than I usually pay for visors, like a little over $40. And then they never sent me any shipping stuff, and they never arrived. So I went on PayPal and canceled it. Then I found some used ones on eBay. There's 3, so 2 more still coming. This is the first arrival. But yeah, I've been on a little visor binge. They're super hard to find. So whenever I find a visor, if you guys see a cool 49er visor, DM it to me. I'll probably pick it up. You can see on the show. I'll give you credit for it. So just like Lee Gowland got me the one that I wear a lot with you, the 49er saloon font, just like your saloon font.
There was somebody made a new saloon. I think it was a custom one. I'm not sure. So I saw it posted on Twitter, maybe an unofficial one, but they had the saloon font, but it was the rest of the hat was this glossy gold.
Ooh.
I don't know what material was made out of. It was really cool though.
I saw a khaki one with the red, but it sold out super fast. So I'm definitely on the lookout for gold or khaki visors. I don't have any. I got quite a few white, red, and black, and then this one's black and red, obviously, with a little gold on there. So yeah, keep me posted, folks, if you see them.
All right, so we're running the stream on both channels. It's on my channel, 49er Minded, but it's also on Ted Talks Balls channel. And you can try to stream it on both if possible, just to give us both the views and likes. Hit the like button and subscribe to both channels. So we have Kenny fired up 49ers. He's already fired up since we got the #1 defense. Says, what up, Bash? We got Jimmy Perez says, yo, what up, Ted? How you doing today? Happy Friday. Raphael 5629er says, what's up, Ted, Bat, Bashar, and everyone. Danny G TV, what's up, Danny? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Met Danny before once when we played the New York Giants. When Mullins was the quarterback. Met him once at Levi's. Yeah, thank you. Like and subscribe. We appreciate that. 187's here. He's got a bear and a dog or a cat. I'm not sure what the other.
I think it's a lion.
The bear's for Bosa, that I do know.
Bear and lion for the Lions since they beat the Chiefs.
Oh, okay. Got it. I barely got to watch that game. I was out of the house, and by the time I got home, it was probably 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So I barely even got to watch any highlights. So I got to go back and watch the full highlights of the game just to get an idea of what really went on.
It was a good game. I normally don't get to watch a lot of games outside of the 49ers. But because my wife had gone to the hospital on Tuesday when we were going to celebrate my birthday, and I didn't get to celebrate, I was like, honey, for my birthday, can I watch the game? She wouldn't let me live stream because that's too intensive. I have to be totally glued to my computer. But I ended up getting to watch most of it, other than having to give my son a bath right around halftime. But I caught up before the end of the game. I was watching a lot with Ryan on No Border Sports. He did a live stream, and he had Anshul Shah on there from the Shah Show. And that was fun. And before the game, Ryan asked who you picking. And in my show yesterday, I said I liked the Lions and the points because at the time they were 4.5 point dogs. So I really liked that. But then even, just before Ryan went live for the show, or the show was live, but the kickoff hadn't happened, I said I liked the Lions straight up to win. And sure enough, they did. So I was feeling pretty good about that.
Yeah, it's funny. A lot of people, I know there's this whole stigma with the Detroit Lions, and I understand that. even when Matthew Stafford, who is a pretty damn good quarterback, even when they had him and Calvin Johnson, they still found a way to suck. So you can blame it on coaching, blame it on bad drafting or whatever. But this Lions team over the past few years, they look like they've slowly have been on the steady uprise. So it doesn't surprise me. Now, sure, it was the Chiefs. The Chiefs just won the Super Bowl. Chiefs were missing a couple of guys, Kelsey, Chris Jones. I get it, but for people to think of the Detroit Lions as this doormat, just because they've been one all throughout these other years, it's kind of ignorant actually to think of them as being a doormat right now. I think they're going to be a pretty good team this year.
Yeah, I picked them to go to the playoffs. I picked them to win the NFC North and go to the playoffs. Yeah, I mean, people say Chris Jones and Kelsey. The Steelers the Lions were missing a few players too. I saw Jesse post about it today, Jesse Naylor. But now I can't find it for some reason. But ultimately, one notable player, especially for us 49ers fans, who was missing was Emmanuel Mosley. Here we go. So Lions were missing JMO, so that's their wide receiver Jameson, who was had the ACL coming out in the draft, but was maybe the top wide receiver in that draft, barring health. And then Mosley and Okwara was out. I think he's a defensive end, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously not the caliber of Chris Jones and Travis Kelce, but still some notable absences. If you want to give an asterisk to the Lions for beating the Chiefs, you can kind of remove the asterisk a little bit for the Lions missing those players. Obviously, E-Man is a very good corner, and and for me, the reason why I picked the Lions was because they got E-Man. I didn't realize he was going to be out for the game when I picked them, or that he was out for the game at that point. I wasn't paying close enough attention to see who their inactives were. But they had picked up CJ Gardner-Johnson from the Eagles, and he had a hell of a game, and he was jawing a lot. He's definitely one of those get under your skin type of players, but he's a big hitter and a ball hawk, one of the better safeties in the NFL. And then they had also gotten Cam Sutton from the Steelers. I think he committed a pass interference. But the big thing with the game last night, with the Lions and the Chiefs was Tony, Kadarius Toney, who the Chiefs traded to the Giants to get him. And he had like 2 or 3 drops, including a drop that turned into a pick 6. That was probably the key to the game. Aiden Hutchinson had a real good game for the Lions. So did their rookie running back, Ji'Ayir Gibbs out of Alabama. He looks like the real deal. He made some rookie mistakes. Montgomery from the Bears was their lead back last night for the Lions. And, he just was kind of a workhorse. I think they just pounded the rock with him to keep Mahomes off the field. But, he scored a TD. He had about 70 yards rushing and about 20 carries. So very steady Eddie. And, Goff was pretty good. He was real efficient. I think he went 8 for his first 11 and had a pretty good game. And Amon-Ra St. Brown was really good. At one point during the game, I thought he might be player of the game. Maybe he still could have been. But, the Lions, see with them last year, their offense was really good. It was their defense that let them down, and they made some upgrades on defense. And I think it's really going to help them. So, I've got them winning the NFC North. And then I think I actually have the Bears maybe being second place. I just don't trust Jordan Love for the Green Bay Packers.
Jordan, I heard Jordan Love supposedly looked pretty good in the preseason. I just didn't watch him. But as far as the Chiefs go in general, a lot of Chiefs fans will boast and brag like, oh, well, it's extremely difficult for opposing teams to play in Arrowhead. And they're always saying that, they never lose an Arrowhead. So, hey, look, the Chiefs were at home. It was a night game, primetime game. I mean, by default, you think they should have played a bit better, even though they did have certain players out. But then again, you said, and you alluded to Jesse, that they did have the Lions themselves had players out too. So
they did. And
say that even out.
The guy I had on my show yesterday, JB Fortes, he runs NBA Now and NFL Now. It's a chat group on Twitter, a DM group, and then also, they do a ton of spaces around the NBA and the NFL. He was saying he thought the Chiefs would run it down the Lions' throats, and the leading rusher was Pat Mahomes. Their star phenom rusher from last year, rookie rusher Isaiah Pacheco, was held in check, and so was Jet McKinnon. So really did not come to be. But it just seemed like, other than a few catches, they really need someone to go with Travis Kelce on that Chiefs team, I would say. Or maybe Kadarius Toney will snap to it. They kept talking about how he missed time with his meniscus. And I'm like, that's his knee, man. It's his hands that ain't working tonight. I don't know how that has anything to do with
the little that I saw was Kadarius Toney dropping some passes. And I think there was a 49er. No, sorry, not 49er. I saw the guy's name in the chat, 49er dude. So I was about to say that. I was going to say that there was some other Chiefs receiver that made some big drop, or it was like later in the game too. I forgot who it was. But in general, yeah, looks like Mahomes. I'll just look at the stat line. Looks like Mahomes targeted a whole bunch of receivers, but I mean, the guy who had the most catches was Pacheco, like 4 catches for 31 yards, and even running wise, like you said, he didn't do all that. 8 carries for 23 yards. It's not really going to get much done. Actually, didn't say that Jerick McKinnon got carries. Is he still with the team? I mean, is he still?
Yeah,
he is. He's still on the team. Okay.
He had a catch, I think, or a drop. I don't know, but I definitely saw him. I'm pretty sure he had at least one catch in the game.
He had a catch.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
It was Sky Moore that had the really bad drop too.
Sky Moore to drop. He also got stuffed in the backfield one time too. So yeah, I remember there was a lot of hype around Sky Moore. In fact, I was doing some hype of Sky Moore.
A lot of 49er fans.
Like, hey, I like Sky Moore. Yeah. I thought he was the man, but hasn't really come to be. I think they're probably missing McCole Hardman. He was a pretty underrated piece of that offense last year, and now he's a Jet, and you're going to see him with Rodgers and Lazard and especially Garrett Wilson. And they have 3 good tight ends on that team and some really good backs. The Jets, I'm thinking like there's 2 divisions this year. I don't know if we want to get to, predictions for playoffs yet. Bash, this is your show. But there's a couple divisions where I have like, it could be this team, it could be that team. I'm having to pick them for 2 of the divisions. Actually, both of the Eastern divisions. I'll just say that. So NFC East and AFC East. I have 2 teams. I think either one, flip a coin, could win those 2. I'll just say it. What the hell? It's the Jets and Bills and the Cowboys and Eagles, right? I mean, so I think both those teams are great teams. With the Jets, I worry about their O-line. With the Bills, I worry about their run game. With the Cowboys, Dak is sort of the Achilles heel as I see it right now. And with the Eagles, I just think it's so much turnover. They supposedly have this really good draft, but, draft picks bust 50%. And the 50% that make it, lots don't make it as rookies. So it'll be interesting. If Jalen Carter really shows up, that could change everything. The guy I had on yesterday was real bullish that he thought Jalen Carter would be Defensive Rookie of the Year. So we'll see.
And let's just get caught up with people in the chat. I know there's some people that dropped in a little later. So we got Joseph Mahoney says, my 2 boys. What's up, Bash and Ted? Good to see you. 49er dude, the guy who did my theme song early in the show, says, bang, bang. What's up, fellas? Go crank that new 49er hype song by myself and Dave Canal. Available now everywhere. I did see something on Twitter about some new song that you guys have, but clue me in on the name and the title of the song, and perhaps I could preview it on the show or play it maybe a little bit later. Who knows?
Nice.
We got Sugar Knot. Welcome to the channel. Never seen you before. He says drop balls. Lost the game for the Kansas City Chiefs. McKinnon was there. Yeah, eventually I caught the game late. I caught the game with only like 7 minutes left in the game. So, and I pulled it up on the stat sheet. I saw McKinnon on there. Gave that 1 catch.
There's on show. He jumped on with Ryan last night from No Border Sports.
Yeah, Shaw Show. Yeah,
live stream.
I call him the Shaw Show Redemption. And he said, he says, hey, Bashar and Ted. And when you spell Shawshank, it's SHWA. Sorry, SHAW. And for whatever reason, I was trying to type Shawshank, the Shaw Show Redemption to him on the chat yesterday when he was on live, and because of my autocorrect, it popped up and it said the Shawarma Redemption, and I was like, if you know what that is, it's a Middle Eastern fast food or whatever. So it was just kind of funny that popped up. Nice. We got Mariah from 49er Faithfully podcast says, yo. We do the Tuesday show with her, Ryan and myself from No Border Sports.
Like she redid her logo, huh?
Yeah, she does all her little logos and stuff like that. She's really good with the graphic arts. So her and I do the show with Ryan's called Bring the Heat podcast on Tuesdays at 6:00. And Mariah's very artistic. For me, I just cheat. If you see my thumbnails, I do all my artwork on there, but it's nothing spectacular, but I try to make it look clean and nice. But I'm not much of an artist in terms of drawing freehand. Never said I was that guy. Brian Cope was here. You can always check out his YouTube channel. He's got the 49er Coffee Talk on the weekends and the mornings. So What's up,
And
bro?
his wife Tony does the women's roundtable.
Yeah,
Saturdays at 5.
yeah, I
That's
forgot what it's called, but I know they do that women's show. It's
Yeah,
really
women
cool.
of the 49ers roundtable. I don't know, something like that. Yeah,
She's
it's
very
a
Ladies
great
of the
show.
Empire or something.
Yeah, ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, she's very knowledgeable. She's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it was good to see some football. I wish I sat and watched the whole game. Some things thought I was gonna have some free time to do it, but some things came up, and eventually I was only able to catch like the last 7 minutes of the game. But it's good to finally see football again. We're obviously playing on the Steelers on 10 a.m. on the West Coast.
Well, one
West
thing
Coast
you
time.
missed was the Chiefs right tackle lining up too deep and false starting a lot, just like Lane Johnson. So like they saw Lane Johnson do it in the Super Bowl after he did it to us in the NFC Championship game. All that mind of a center BS that Hansen, the tight end, was saying, and it just irked me because the guy was false starting all the time. And now this Chiefs tackle is taking a page right out of his book, and they're practically joking about it. And he never got called, or maybe he got called once, but it was only when he had an egregious false start. Just really ridiculous that the Chiefs and Eagles are allowed to play by different rules than the rest of the league after they already made the Super Bowl. It's supposed to be Super Bowl hangover. Instead, they're getting like Super Bowl lift. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it seems like we never get those breaks. That's for sure.
Absolutely not.
If somebody coughs or sneezes, next thing you know, they throw a flag for us.
Yeah,
it kind of sucks. Yeah, I did catch that on Twitter. Everybody was posting little videos about that and just tweeting about it. So it definitely caught my attention and reminded me a lot of the Super Bowl. That's for sure.
And the NFC Championship, Lane Johnson.
Yeah,
was doing that to us too. It just didn't matter because there was nothing we could do about it. But
yeah, I don't get it because like when I was playing for offensive line, if you jumped early or whatever, the coaches were on, at least where I play, the coaches were on your ass. They literally take you off the field for that series if you jumped at times.
yeah, because you would get called for it. That's why the refs in the NFL don't call them. So
exactly.
I remember, good job. You got the step.
Yeah, I remember coaches making a big deal about that whenever you'd make that mistake. And I guess on those teams it doesn't matter because the referees show you so much love. And Shasho says it's all part of the script too. Conspiracy theory here. Here we go. There was something that was brought up in terms of this upcoming Steelers game, and it's definitely a concern. I forgot who brought it up in the chat. I want to bring it up for you guys. It was something about the rain. It was a mention about the rain, and
it's another year of second year QBs starting week 1 in the rain. Now let's before we get like too in our feelings about it. Like obviously there's still some time between now and Sunday, so the weather could change. But as of now on the Weather Channel, honestly, I don't even like the Weather Channel as much as I like Apple Weather. Seems to be pretty accurate in my experience off my phone app, but I don't think they go far enough in advance to look. So as of right now, the Weather Channel is saying 1 p.m. They're saying 46% rain, and that had been higher. That was like 60% earlier today. So again, it's already just changed in a few hours today. They're saying 2 p.m. They're saying 63%. God, I hate this app. They show ads and it keeps bouncing around. 3 p.m. 63. So 63 at 2, 63 at 3, and 461. So it sounds like 1 to 2, but then after that 2, 3, and 4 a lot more rain. So 46 to 63, 63, 61. But again, that can all change between now and Sunday. So it could get worse, could get better. We'll see. I know there's that hurricane coming up from the Caribbean, so that's probably what is influencing some of that.
Hurricane. I don't know if you know that little hook there, Ted. That's an old E40 song. So we got David Yangs in the house. So what's up, fellas?
I mean, if you say hurricane, I'll be like Scorpion.
When I make these little hurricane, you can call me Spirit. If I make these little references, I want you to research these songs after the show. That's your
homework. Make sure you DM me or
DM me the link, and then
something.
I can you can
just a reminder. You don't have to give me a link, just to remind me, because we talk about a million things, I forget.
I know. We got Damian Lee's here. He says, "My weatherman is a liar. I'm speaking from past mistakes." Yeah, weather can always change too. I mean, it is what it is. Every weatherman on planet Earth can say it's going to rain, and then, the nature happens. It is what it is. So,
Do you know why
hopefully,
God invented weathermen?
why?
To make economists look good.
Okay, got it. You know what? Speaking of weatherman, you know what movie I finally watched the other day? And it's ironic because the movie's called Groundhog Day. All right, with Bill Murray. It's from
I've
fucking
never heard of it.
19. You've heard of it. Come on. And it's from
Don't drive angry, Bash. Don't rant angry.
Why?
No, I mean that's the whole point of a rant is you're supposed to be angry.
Oh, okay.
There's that line. He says, "Don't drive angry." And
So, anyways, I finally saw the movie, and the thing is, my birthday is the day after Groundhog Day, ironically. And for years, I wanted to see this movie, but I just never got around to it.
Oh, Jesus, Bash.
It's just funny because there's so many, and the guy plays a weatherman. That's why I brought it up. The guy plays a weatherman, Bill Murray.
I got you, babe. Plays
really
every
good
morning
movie.
on the alarm, the radio.
Yeah, that's a crazy movie. It's very repetitive, but it's actually pretty good. And Damian Lee says he loves Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah,
that's she's not in that movie though.
Elaine from Cheers, or not?
Yeah,
Cheers,
she's in
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld. Yeah, well,
yeah.
Wonder how that came up. Okay, hey, you can confess your love on here. It's all we appreciate it. It's all good. David Yang says I was at SFO yesterday at the airport, and man, the faithful is going to be deep in Pittsburgh. Yeah, I see tons of people on Twitter just saying, "Hey, I'm taking pictures in the airports or whatever. I'm flying out," and looks like we're going to have a pretty strong fan base in Pittsburgh. It's going to be nice. Hopefully they bring their Niner towels, whatever towels they can bring, and just wave them around so you can see some red towels being waved around rather than some terrible yellow ugly towels. It's funny because if you saw my thumbnail for the show, I actually drew in the default when I was setting up the thumbnail on the website that I use. It did have a black and yellow background, and for whatever reason, I just stuck with it. I was going to change it to Niner colors, but it's like, let me just stick with it because we're playing the Steelers. But I did put Bosa's picture on there, so it is what it is. What up, Master of Any Craft over in Texas says my favorite Niner YouTube channel. Wow, he's just saying that because he's my friend. I don't know if he means it. Snap man, what's up, man? Good to see you. I know, really good guy from the Twitter Spaces, diehard Niner fan on the East Coast. And yeah, man, there's gonna be tons of Niner fans at this game from California, flying out all the way to Steelers, Pittsburgh. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully, the rain isn't a factor. We were talking about the weather, and hopefully, the rain isn't a factor. Like, there's normal football rain, and there's like completely terrible, shitty, horrible rain that we saw when we played Chicago. And when it gets to those extreme conditions, it sucks because I feel like regardless of how talented one team is compared to the other, it's almost like on a level playing field, literally.
It's an equalizer, yeah.
Yeah, it's an equalizer, and it sucks, man.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say is that Brock Purdy, I think, has pretty big hands, and oh no, 9 1/4. Never mind. But I think Kenny Pickett's are even smaller because that's his stick.
Everybody rags on Kenny Pickett for. I think I said Cody Pickett the other too because we had we had a quarterback.
So
we had a quarterback, Cody Pickett.
Purdy's 9 1/4. Pickett is 8 5/8. So he's barely over 8.5. That's
I don't even know what the NFL average.
Difference. And I know, I should say I know, but I've heard that Purdy has played well in the rain, like at Iowa State, and he played in the rain quite a bit. And I heard he did a good job with it. So if anything, that might be an advantage for us. I just worry about Purdy with the heavy ball with his elbow. I still am not sure that the elbow's 100. I mean, I'm gonna say it. I'm pretty sure the elbow's not 100%. All right, I'm just gonna say it. He's still not 100% in practice to where he's throwing all the practice throws. So I just hope that's not an issue with a heavy ball for Purdy's elbow. It's not like I don't think we have to worry about his hands as much as maybe like the Steelers need to worry about Kenny Pickett's hands. But the elbow is a concern for sure. The UCL, of course.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a concern. Hopefully between when you saw Purdy, I know you went to those nine training.
Yeah, but that was a while ago.
It was a while. Hopefully between now and then he has improved and gotten more back to his form. He's our only hope. I don't want Sam Darnold out there. If things go wrong with Purdy, do not. Purdy's our guy right now, and the whole Trey Lance thing, it's a thing in the past. You can say that I backed him or whatever, supported him, whatever, and I did. But he's no longer wearing the red and gold, so there's no point in thinking about that. Purdy's the guy that we're moving on forward with at least for this season until proven otherwise. So Dan the Corman's here. Good to see him. He's a big 49er fan / Nebraska Cornhusker fan. Says I think if we don't win the Super Bowl this year, we won't be contenders for 3 years. I mean, that could be a possibility. I wouldn't go that far just yet. I mean, I think what could still be good we can still be a contender for at least a year after. But I think it's a 2-year window, honestly, right now. And what happens in the third year, who knows, man? I have no idea.
All depends on Trent Williams.
That's true. And think of that. That's why I was banging the table. Other than our quarterbacks getting hurt, and then because I just know everybody should know, not just me, everybody should know this. The offensive line, drafting for offensive line is so important. Building in the trenches, developing in the trenches. And if you look at all the offensive linemen that we've acquired over the past 2 years, we have acquired a decent amount of young offensive linemen. Not saying that we haven't at all, but it's all been guards. How many of them are tackles? You know what I mean? And McKivitz is there, and they're saying that he's improved and he looks good. That's what some people think. Some people have all the confidence in the world in him. I'm a little iffy on him, but if McKivitz goes down, who do we have with any upside to take his place?
Yeah, it's Jalen Moore, essentially, or Matt Pryor. I guess Matt Pryor's penciled in for backup right tackle. I'd feel a lot better about McKivitz if we had seen him go against Bosa all offseason, but not getting Bosa signed late did not allow Bosa's iron to sharpen. I'm going to call it tin for McKivitz because it's unproven. Now you're going up against a Bosa-like player and TJ Watt, who has played a lot from the left side, which is on the left of the defense, is the right of the O-line. That's McKivitz. So expect to see a lot of TJ Watt versus McKivitz. And if he takes a break, they might switch Alex Highsmith over there, who's a hell of a pass rusher on his own. Certainly not TJ Watt, but just became the 10th highest paid edge not long ago, a few weeks ago. So it's a tall order for Colton McKivitz and his first ever start at right tackle.
On the road too, and who knows, it might be in the rain. So hopefully we give them a heavy dosage of the run game so we don't have to worry so much about McKivitz in the passing game. But for what some people say is they think McKivitz can be a better pass blocker than McGlinchey. So there is that. And David Yang does bring up a really good point. I brought up the run game, but we do have a passing game that is kind of like a running game if you think about it. And it's the quick pass. David Yang says the quick passing game should help McKivitz. We did play pretty good with Tom Compton. We did. No, I never thought anything of Tom Compton before we had him. You know what's funny? One thing about this team when it comes to offensive line, there's points in times in the preseason where it looks like we have a bunch of like junior college guys out there on the offensive line in comparison to the rest of the league. And it just looks dismal and terrible. But then once the regular season comes along, for whatever reason, you'll have the starting five out there. And if somebody does go down, sometimes there are guys who do step up and they tend to blend and do just fine. Not that they're all pros or anything like that, but Tom Compton was, pretty formidable for a minute. He wasn't bad. So we'll see. We got some people
I just feel like we had Brunskill, who was a great fill-in, and he's gone. And then I just feel like as bad as McGlinchey was at pass blocking, he was an awfully good run blocker. I think we're going to miss that with McKivitz. So it's
with McGlinchey being out, with McKivitz being in, not being the good run blocker is McGlinchey. McGlinchey, when we first got him, he was an amazing run blocker. He dwindled down a little bit though because of his injury. But I mean, I don't even know if McKivitz is even what McGlinchey was last year. So we still don't know that. It's a big question mark in terms of his run blocking abilities. Let me catch up with some of these chats here. We got here we got David Corona from Crown Town says, "What's up, 49er homie? All day, 49ers all day. Good to see you." Rick Diaz is here. Says, "Faithful, how's everybody doing? Good to see you." Willie Rodriguez says, "What's up, fellas? Go Niners." Rick Diaz says, "The time has come for some real football on Sunday. Let's get ready to rumble." Yep, Niner football is back. The Shaw Show says the offensive linemen take some time to start to get their continuity together, and also knock on wood, these backups will be playing with starters. So it does help when they're out there with starters. Yeah, this is an inside joke between Kenny I. He says he's got short arms. Yeah, speaking of short arms, who was it? The guy, the offensive lineman that not only I liked, but a lot of other people liked?
Joey Fisher.
Il Manning in the preseason from Hawaii. He looked really good at times, and we let him go when he went off to the Cardinals, and the knock on him was he had short arms. But each and every time he played at left tackle in the preseason, he looked good, man.
Yeah, and he was also short, in overall height, 6'2" only, which is awfully short for a tackle. I don't think I know any offensive tackles in the NFL that are shorter than 6'4". There might be some, but I can't think of any.
Yeah, I remember we had Derek Deese and we played him in tackle. I remember he was like 6'3". Remember he was pretty good. Yeah. And I was thinking about you brought up the offensive line earlier about Trent Williams and TJ Watt, and who you said TJ Watt will probably be on McKivit's side, right? It's ironic though, because sometimes we have Trent Williams, right? And he's this amazing, great offensive lineman, left tackle, but it's seldom that we actually see him go up against the team's best pass rusher, because what they basically do is just flip the other guy to the opposite side, the right tackle side instead.
And as great as Trent Williams is, he could have used reps with Bosa this offseason too. I mean, it definitely helps both of them to go against each other. And whatever we see of Bosa, he'll be less effective from not going across against Trent himself. So, and it'll probably be limited. But I guess maybe that's a good segue into the Bosa signing that happened since we last spoke.
I wanted Bosa. Yeah. So, again, Bosa finally did sign. He signed some ridiculous contract. I don't know if you remember the numbers. So you can go on about the numbers in just a second. But you're right, though. During training camp, I was thinking to myself, even a few weeks ago, like it's good that Bosa finally signed, but it would have been really nice to see Bosa out there, like showing Drake Jackson a few of his moves, showing Clelin Ferrell a few of his moves, showing Austin Bryant a few of his moves, because Bosa has an amazing repertoire of different types of moves that he uses. And, again, to condition, McKivitz and some of these other younger offensive linemen, Trent Williams obviously has been up against them. And it's just, the whole iron sharpens iron thing, like you mentioned, it's just a great thing to have in practice. Hopefully they have a Bosa crash course during these practices leading up to Sunday.
Yesterday and today, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You mentioned Austin Bryant. That's who we cut to make room for Bosa.
Oh, we did cut him.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. Wow, when was this?
I sent it to you. It's in your DM.
Oh, really? I missed
because I asked you the question. I said, "Who do you think we'll cut?" And I had Austin Bryant in mind because I had said that before, that I thought we had only kept him on the D line on the 53-man roster until Bosa signed, and then we would cut Austin Bryant. If I didn't say it on this show, I said it on another show.
You know what? I did see that. Okay, so earlier today you did message me. Who do you think we trade or cut to make room for Bosa? And
you said we didn't think we'd trade anybody.
Yeah, I was thinking you were saying that. Who do we trade? Like what trades are we going to make for offensive linemen, or do we bring in another?
Oh no. I
thought you meant because we freed up $23 million. So I had no idea we needed to cut anybody.
I meant because Bosa was going to take up one of the 53. That was
I didn't. That kind of makes our depth a bit weaker, though. I was hoping to see Austin Bryant in a Niner uniform this season for depth purposes, and he's got some speed on the edge. But I guess
injuries.
Robert Beal Jr. we haven't seen yet. I haven't seen.
Yeah,
maybe they have some good high hopes for him.
I like Kerry Hyder a lot, and he's more versatile.
Yeah, Kerry Hyder, he's good, but I just don't. He seems a little slow, and I don't know. I'd rather have somebody younger and more faster.
But then Austin Bryant has struggled with injuries, and as they say, the best ability is availability. So I think that might have factored into it too.
Yeah. David Yang says Bosa's mom was pretty stoked he'd be back practicing against big Trent Williams. You know what? She also put out some report that I don't know who was interviewing her, but she said something that Bosa is stronger and faster this season. So I hope she's right, because he's been out for quite some time and he needs to catch up.
And then I don't know if you saw, but he said they asked him what he's going to do with this load of loot that he just secured. He said he's going to buy a fat pad here in the Bay Area. So get ready for Bosa inbound to the Bay Area at least a few months of the year during the season. I'm sure he'll go back to Florida most of the year to dodge the taxes. But I wonder where he'll end up buying that fat house.
I mean, he was the second pick overall. I mean, I'm pretty sure he had a huge had a whole bunch of money back then. He could have bought a nice Bay Area home back then, but I guess he wanted to wait.
I'm gonna say Los Gatos, because it's not too far.
It's not too far from Santa Clara. Not too far.
Or Saratoga, somewhere right around there.
Who knows? Dan the Clown. I don't know about this one. Dan the Corn Man says, should we trade Ronnie Bell? Think we could get a 3rd round pick out of him since he won't start? I don't know if he could garner. Honestly, I don't think he'd garner a 3rd round pick right now, because he hasn't shown anything in real games. I mean, we saw the preseason that he looked pretty good. But in order to get a 3rd round pick from somebody, I think you'd have to build up a resume in actual real games. And the 49ers like him, and they may hold on to him because Jennings may leave. So that's a good insurance policy, in my opinion.
And Ray Ray's already been injured, and he's set to play supposedly, but that's a concern when you have a broken wrist that recently. I think it was only 3 or 4 weeks ago that he broke his wrist. I think we also got rid of Deshaun Jameson, who's a returner, so we're a little light on returners if something happens to Ray Ray.
Yeah, I had a lot of high hopes for Deshaun Jameson to make the roster because I loved his return skills coming out of Texas, and he's a playmaker as a cornerback. And he was doing some nice things as a corner too in 49ers training camp. It wasn't like he was getting burnt or he was sucking. It's just that, with this loaded roster, who was it? Let me say what's up to Kels before I forget. So what's up, fellas? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he asked us the question too.
So this is the best roster since. Not sure since when, but I was going to say this because I knew this roster was going to be stacked with the players that we drafted, with the carryover from last year, and with free agency and all that. I was, it's just a given thing that when it comes down to cut time, we're not going to be like those other teams where they cut a bunch of guys who suck or whatever. Like, no, we're going to be cutting a handful of some pretty good players, but best roster since what year? I kind of like this roster a little bit better than last year's. I could say that. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I'd say it's best since last year because we gained Hargrave, which I love that move. Like I said, it could be Charles Haley 2.0, but in a good way. But we lost Amanahu, Abucom, and Jordan Willis, who's actually I believe is still a free agent. Last I saw, so maybe that wasn't such a big loss if nobody's taking a flyer on him. But the big ones for me are Jimmy G and Trey Lance. Sorry guys, I don't trust Sam Darnold, and I certainly don't trust Brandon frickin' Allen. So QB room's a lot weaker than last year. The rest, I don't know, hard to tell. Isaiah Oliver. We also lost Jimmy Ward, who is a hell of a nickel, a hell of a safety. Just a great person to have in your secondary. Just another sign that the 49ers are top heavy, a lot the way the Rams were right before they won the Super Bowl. Last 2-3 years before they won the Super Bowl, the Rams were super top heavy. We're very similar. I think we're more responsibly constructed. I don't feel like we have a lot of exploding contracts. I feel like we're careful to just do one a year, one big extension per year. But nonetheless, we still ended up being very top heavy. Jimmy Ward's a great example. So is Azeez Al-Shire, Brunskill, all kind of more middle of the road players that we couldn't afford anymore under this news because we got all these guys at the top.
Yes, sir. I mean, I was thinking about, we're talking about the depth from last year, this year, and how strong the roster is. In some areas we did get stronger, but the one thing that does worry me is the D tackle depth. And even the whole Jordan Willis thing, like some people were saying that we should have gotten Jordan Willis and he's better than some of the backups DNs that we have. And he did some good things. I mean, he blocked that field goal, was on special teams. He blocked that field goal in the snow in Green Bay. And that field goal was, sorry, not that punt. It wasn't a field goal, it was a punt. When that punt was blocked, it was so snowy and watching TV, and you had no idea what happened when it happened. You're like, what's going on here? Oh, they blocked it. Okay. And then okay, but where's the ball? Where's the ball? I don't see it. Oh, Falcons got it. Okay, cool. Touchdown. It was one of those types of plays. So we'll never forget that in regards to Jordan Willis. We appreciate what he's done for the 49ers. If they find a way to bring him back, that'd be great. I would totally appreciate it. But we'll see what they do. And, I wanted to see Austin Bright on this roster, and we weren't able to keep him. And but we will talk about D tackles really quick because you mentioned Hargrave, amazing pickup. Love that. My sleeper for the D tackles is Khalil Davis.
Absolutely.
He's kind of like a DJ Jones type. He's 320 pounds and he can move. He's a former linebacker. When you watch his college film, even as a D tackle, you can see those linebacker instincts that he has, even as a D tackle. So hopefully he picks up the slack, and hopefully the run defense comes back to what it was last year, or the preseason gave us a big scare and did not like that. So it is what it is. Frank Tom Ocean is here. Great to see you. He's on Ted's channel. It says, "Yo, Teddy." Oh yeah, happy birthday, Ted. By the way, you mentioned the birthday thing. It kind of flew over my head. I don't know. Should we sing "Happy Birthday" for Ted? Give me.
Aaron wouldn't do it on Wednesday.
Oh, Aaron wouldn't do it. Okay.
Yeah, even Kat was trying to get Laura Cat was trying to get him to do it, and he wasn't having it. He would sing other stuff, but not "Happy Birthday." It's fine. I don't need it. It's fine. But
okay,
yeah,
no. I'm gonna say this:
53rd.
Everybody in the chat, give me a type of 1 in the chat if I should. Okay, sing it. All right, so I'm gonna have to sing it. I'm gonna have to pull up some happy birthday background music and sing happy birthday. Give me a second on this.
Let me know when you're ready. I'll fill till then. So on my birthday, I got my shows ready and retweeted the shows from the day before, and I think I forgot to do that today, so I need to do that. But I tweeted out. I said on my 53rd birthday, my biggest wish is that the Niners don't roll into the season with this 53-man roster, because sign Bosa, hashtag sign Bosa, and so we did, and then I retweeted it and said happy birthday to me, because I was super happy we got Bosa locked down, and we paid him a lot, but he's worth what we paid him, I think.
It's a ridiculous, crazy contract. I mean, it's kind of sucks because we're basically paying a non-quarterback, elite quarterback money. If you think about it, but Bosa is an amazing, awesome player, and hopefully the quarterback that we do have on the roster can take us to the dance with all these amazing players that we have that are surrounding him, and he can be good enough to help us win it all. We'll see about that. I'm not gonna try to put amazing, crazy, lofty expectations on Purdy's shoulders, but at the same time, as we have an amazing team, and it is our. You can say about it. You can kind of say it is our time to do so, anyway. So we'll let it go one week at a time and see it. Everybody wants me to sing happy birthday. I'm trying to cue up some music, so just give me a second. Anything you want to say more about Bosa, go right ahead, because I'm just trying to find some music. Just give me a second, guys.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I feel like I kind of was pretty clear coming down to the wire with it that I felt like both sides were being a little bit unreasonable. I think Bosa was being a little bit greedy, and the Niners were being a little bit cheap. I did see on Twitter today that somebody said that Bob Myers, the former GM of the Warriors, actually stepped in and helped. And somebody said something like, "Oh yeah, hey Bob called up and he said, hey Parag, things aren't going well. Yeah, try adding a little more money." It's not rocket science exactly, but I'm glad it worked out. I'm glad it looks like Bosa will play at least a little, and I think even if he doesn't make a huge impact on the field, which I think even a little play will. Just having him back in the locker room, it gets people feeling better about the season. Now we just got to get Kittle and Mooney Ward. Mooney Ward injured his heel, and Kittle they're both questionable. I think they'll both play, but I'd love it if they could ditch those questionable designations before last second on Sunday.
And it's pretty odd that they had to get Bob Myers involved. Bob Myers isn't even the GM with the Warriors anymore, man.
He's not.
Yeah, he's not. That's weird. Yeah, and it's funny though, because sometimes people talk about how they hate the Yorks and they wish DeBartolo would take over, could go back, and I don't think DeBartolo would ever come back, and I don't think the NFL would let him. And the Yorks won't let go. But if for whatever reason, if the Yorks were ever to sell the team, the one ownership group that I would love the 49ers to love to have purchased the 49ers would be Joe Lacob and Peter Guber. I'd totally be about that. But I have to put myself out here. Everybody's saying sing Bashar. Happy birthday, Ted. So I was going to find some music, but I'm just going to sing a really quick one for you.
Acapella?
Yeah, I guess I have to do the acapella. I don't know. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ted. Happy birthday to you.
Your voice is so deep. Bash pod.
I can't sing high pitch, man.
That was great. That was awesome.
Right.
I'm touched. Thank you so much. Thanks to everybody for the birthday wishes. Yeah, it's crazy. 53, and my wife's about to have our second son. So starting over on the baby clock at age 53. Probably not advisable, but we've been trying for years since my first son was born, and maybe a year after that we started trying. So it's been a long endeavor. We tried for a long time with my first son, and we had a lot of trouble there. So that's what put us so far behind. Also, I didn't get married till late. I didn't get married till I was 37. So anyway, bottom line is thank you, Bash. And it's been a good birthday week. Although my birthday party got canceled on Tuesday night because my wife had to go to the hospital with contraction pains. But that bought me being able to watch the game last night. So, when one door closes, another door opens, as they say.
So hopefully, like the 49ers, because you said you tried so many times, and hopefully with the 49ers trying so many times, we can finally get over the hump and win a Super Bowl. That'd be good. And Kim says, happy birthday. I'm not sure if this is the same Kim, just asking because the way you spell your name. Are you the same Kim that's the 49ers team photographer? I've never met you before, but I've seen you at a 49er team function, and I've seen you on Twitter and all that. And so just asking that question if that's you.
Thanks,
or not.
Kim. Thanks, Jimmy.
Willie Rodriguez says happy birthday. So hopefully the Niners give you the win as a present. Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, you got the Bosa signing, and hopefully the victory on Sunday as a present. That'd be good. Donald Johnson, what's up, bro? He says, was Kittle restructuring his contract part of the reason why they could sign Bosa? If not, could this be a setup for a big trade?
No, yeah, it is. So like we were right up against the cap. We were a little over the cap, and then we cut Zing Gonzalez and one of their player that freed up $2 million. That got us just under the cap, and then restructuring Bosa. We don't know the details. The $23 million could be so that they could front load Bosa's deal, because we have so many backloaded deals. If we backload Bosa's, they're all going to explode at one point. Kind of like what we were just talking about the Rams with their exploding contracts. They never did anything like that. So I wouldn't be surprised to see us front load the deal. And you talk about good ownership. That's what you see good ownership do, because it costs money to restructure those deals. It costs money up front. So that's money that, Jed is paying to Kittle and to Trent Williams right now, that he wouldn't have to pay them till later. So he could have that invested other places and earn, a return on an investment, or at least interest in an account that he won't get doing that. So that's another sign of a good owner. So hats off to Jed York for, ponying up to do those restructures. And we'll see. It could give us room for a trade or, a signing. It could give us room where we just carried over to 2024 because we're so far behind the cap for 2024 that we just need to get a little head start on it by not spending all of our cap this year. It could be that we're front loading Bosa's deal. Those are my three most probable outcomes with that cap money.
There you go. What up, John V from the Locker Room Rant? John V. He's a big time 49er fan over in Ohio. He has a Locker Room Rant YouTube channel where he goes on with his friend that's a Brown fan. The other one's a Buffalo Bills fan. And okay, so Kim, you're not the same person, but she does spell her name the same exactly. But hey, great to have you. Thank you for watching.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Somebody was telling me that the Steelers had some rookie left tackle, but I was looking at their depth chart, and the guy they have is like a second or third year player, so maybe he got confused. I see Dan Moore at left tackle, and this guy's name is really hard to say. He's another younger player, Chukwuemeka or Okora, for if I can say that name. So those are the two tackles for the Steelers. I don't know if they're actually proven NFL players or not. They haven't really scouted them too much. But those are the two, the right tackle, left tackle that we could probably flip flop and have Bosa pass rush. Either one of those sides, assuming who's weaker, and what scheme we're trying to do.
Yeah, I don't think the Steelers O-line is particularly good. So that could be a weakness to attack. I don't think their linebackers are particularly good. I know their safeties. They lost Cam Sutton. They got Patrick Peterson. I guess we should bring up that because he said he's going to pick up in his gums this week.
Yeah. What was he saying about Purdy? He was talking straight.
He was saying that he had seen tendencies and he was going to get an interception off of Purdy this week.
Well, there are tendencies in Purdy's game. I mean, like a lot of the plays that a lot of people know this already. A lot of plays that he does make are to the left side of the field. So,
and he throws to the left. He's green to the left, yellow to the center, red to the right. So, yeah, his throwing chart is limited. His height is limited. His arm is limited, and his top speed is limited. So I should just say his throwing chart from 2022. From 2023, it's TBD. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But also, I loved when they asked Purdy about it. He said, yeah, I used to watch Pat Pete as a kid. And, to me, that just says, that guy's washed. Like if
I haven't heard Patrick Peterson's name in years, man.
Well, he was with the Cards for a long time.
Yeah.
And then he went to the Vikings, and we played against the Vikings at Levi's. Pretty close game that we won. And then they released him, and he went to the Steelers. So, that was one of their defensive losses this year. They lost Eric Kendricks. They lost Zadarius Smith. They were shopping Danielle Hunter. And then obviously they lost Dalvin Cook, too, a big loss off their offensive side there. Very versatile running back, receiving running back.
Okay, so Dan Moore Jr., their left tackle, did give up 8 sacks last year. Is that the same guy that we're talking about, David Yang? That's the name I see on the depth chart. I'm not sure where you pulled that up, but that's a good.
Sounds good. Sounds like
hopefully Hopefully he can continue that streak and give up four more this next Sunday. We'll see.
That's
I
a
mean, the
little-
Steelers. You mentioned the Steelers defense. Names obviously stand out. Was it Hayward? Cameron Hayward. Sorry, their D tackle. That guy is just a monster, man. He racked up a whole bunch of sacks last year. And
I was on with Ryan on Tuesday on No BS TED. We do it every Tuesday at 3:30 Pacific, 6:30 Eastern, and he asked for hot takes. I said my hot take is Ambry Thomas gets a pick. His hot take was Clelin Ferrell gets 2 sacks. So maybe that's 2 of the 4 that their tackle gives up. What's his name? I already can't find it there for some reason. But just said the LT. But someone else said the name. I saw it on there, or maybe you said it. Dan Johnson.
What did he say?
I was just saying Ryan said that he thought Clelin Ferrell would get 2 sacks. It was his hot take, so he didn't really think it. He said it like that'd be hot if he did. It'd be a hot take if he did.
My hot take is Clelin Ferrell and Armstead both get sacks, so a sack apiece. So
I like it. I like it. Sounds good.
Let's talk to you about this, because I mean, when you were in camp, I mean, maybe you had to focus on this, maybe you didn't, but just to ask you a question on this one. Since we got Clelin Ferrell out from the Raiders, and I liked him a whole lot out of college. We mentioned Austin Bryant earlier. Him and Austin Bryant were teammates, and they were an amazing pass rush duo in college. But now Austin Bryant's no longer on our squad. But we do have Drake Jackson still. Who stood out more to you on the eye test during camp?
Well, Drake Jackson got hurt, so Clelin Ferrell did. Clelin Ferrell was our best defensive end in camp. But Hyder did pretty well too. I think Hyder earned his spot. I think they wanted to bring in Austin Bryant, but then Austin Bryant got hurt. Drake Jackson got hurt. And Austin Bryant's got a lot of injury history, so hard to roll with him. He also, honestly, the guy he's built, he looks like DK Metcalf. He's got really long, kind of thin legs. He doesn't look like a defensive end. Nothing like Bosa.
Yeah, some pass rushers are kind of built like that too, actually, where they kind of got the skinnier legs, but not all of them are successful. Sometimes
he has really long, skinny legs.
Yeah, sometimes they can get away with it, sometimes they can't.
Yeah.
David Yang says Ferrell's going to eat. He's shown he can beat people one-on-one. Yeah, I hope so, man. Hopefully he can turn over a new leaf. He was the 4th pick overall with the Raiders, I believe. And, this new organization. I wish he had Bosa with him all throughout camp, like we mentioned earlier, to help him get all pumped up. But it is what it is. Bosa, arrived late. And so hopefully he can just be a sponge and learn from Bosa, as much as he can these next few days. But, I liked Ferrell a lot in college, and a lot of people were telling me he wasn't good because he played an all-star defensive line, but he's got Chris Kosira coaching him up now, arguably the best D-line coach in the NFL. So it is what it is. 49er Dude says the new song's called Here Comes the Niners. Okay. Maybe I'll be able to play it before the show, or maybe we'll play it on another show. We got Jason Niners Smash Massey says, how's it going? I think he said it's Talofa, if I'm saying it right. He had it earlier. There you go. He said, Talofa Faithful. I believe it's in Samoan. Means hello in Samoan. We got another birthday thing for you there from Laura Cat. She says, happy Friday, Niner fam. Is it Sunday yet? Beyond excited. Okay, I thought she said happy birthday. She just said happy Friday. Thank you. And Bryant says, my hot take. The Niners return the opening kickoff for a touchdown. With Ray? With who now? Let's hear that. Okay, we got James Durnall from the UK says, gentlemen, the Lions beat the fucking Chiefs. Why can't we? Yeah, they kind of been on our Achilles heel since that Super Bowl. I was thinking the same thing last night, but who knows? Maybe if we play the Chiefs now, maybe with Purdy running this offense now with the CMC actually acclimated into the system, because when CMC did play against the Chiefs, it was like 12 plays for that game. So who knows? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we could beat the Chiefs. I think if we can stay healthy, I made my Super Bowl prediction. I said if we're healthy and Purdy plays like 2022 or better, then we can beat any team, including the Chiefs. I would pick us to beat the Chiefs if we're healthy and Purdy's playing like he did last year. But those are big ifs. I don't think we'll be as healthy to start the playoffs as we were last year. And I have my doubts about Purdy, especially week 1, this Sunday, to play like he did in 2022. As the season wears on, if he can get the right rest he needs and stuff, I think Purdy will get back to where he was before, or maybe even get better from all those reps in camp. But basically, yeah, I think we could beat the Chiefs. I think we could have beat the Chiefs last year if we had Purdy instead of Jimmy, if CMC knew the playbook, if Dre didn't get injured, if Trent Williams wasn't playing injured, if Bosa wasn't playing injured, if Mooney Ward wasn't playing injured, if McGlinchey wasn't playing injured. And we had a lot of walking wounded on that team, and a lot of people out. Eric Armstead was out. Jimmy Ward playing with a freaking club on his hand in his first game back of the season, out of shape and one-handed. I mean, come on. I think we could have beat the Chiefs. What I said for the NFC Championship and the Super Bowl, if Purdy was healthy, I had like 50-50 against the Eagles and 40-60 against the Chiefs. I thought the Chiefs should be favored with good reason against us, but easily winnable. I wouldn't have picked us straight up against the Chiefs.
Last year. I just saw a crazy question in the chat. I have no idea why that popped up in there. That really threw me off big time. Oh my gosh.
It's really funny. It's a dad joke, but it's a little bit racy for a dad joke.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as far as your birthday celebration, did you guys go out anywhere for dinner or do anything?
No, we were set to go to. There's a place in Portola Valley called Rosati's Alpine Inn. They have great burgers and pizza, and it's like outdoor beer garden and dog friendly and super great place. In fact, I went there today with my son after I picked him up from preschool. I met my sister there, and awesome spot. But yeah, we were set to go with the family Tuesday night. Had a big birthday cake and everything that my sister-in-law picked up for me. But, Maggie ended up being in the hospital. And so we canceled it because we weren't sure if she would be there in time and didn't want to stress her out to, have to get there even if she was released in time. And she really wasn't. It would have been a stretch to get all the way down from the city down to Portola Valley. We had plans, but it all fell through. But like I said, because of that, I played the guilt trip card and was able to watch the game last night, even though not all of it live. I caught up in the second half before the game ended, so I got to watch the ending.
You watched way more than I did. I barely watched anything. Okay, so we do have a happy birthday from Laura. She's happy birthday as well. Much love to you, Ted. There you go.
Appreciate
you missed the happy birthday song.
Yeah, you'll have to rewind for that, Laura.
I don't know. No, maybe it's not a good idea. I was hoping to have some music.
Had the echo deep effects. It was super cool. I was touched.
I was trying to find some music on my cell phone, but I was like, I had to be really
pressed
quick
for time. I get it.
I was pressed for time, and it was on the fly. It was.
You're trying to host, and it's stressful for people.
Yeah, exactly. And you mentioned Portola Valley. I used to live in the South Bay, and I had no idea what Portola Valley was until just put it up on Google Maps. It's like, oh, okay, it's hidden over in the South Bay. Okay, I see where it is now, kind of by Redwood City.
Yeah, it's like kind of between. It's like west of Palo Alto.
You know what? And I may have been to that restaurant too, for all I know. Is it like an Italian restaurant, kind of just hidden in like the middle of nowhere?
It's not Italian. It's like beers and burgers and pizzas. It sounds like it because it's Rosati's, but Rosati's, it's Alpine Inn is the better name to know it by. As far as the food, it's just kind of like American fare. It used to be kind of more of a biker bar back in the day. Like my dad went to Stanford. And so back then in the 60s, it was more of a biker bar. In 70s, 80s, 90s.
When I think Stanford, I don't think biker bar, though.
No, you wouldn't. But nonetheless.
I think of like Oldsmobile bar.
There's a lot of biker bars, as you start to head west, like up by there's Alice's Restaurant up on Skyline. That's sort of it's also kind of like a car racer hangout. Like everybody takes their supercars up there and meets up to rally on the weekends to drive their fancy cars around. And then there's some other ones. I think there's one called Applejack's on the way down to the coast, down Highway 84. It's another biker bar.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of it. You know all about these little spots in the South Bay that I have no knowledge of, and I lived down there for quite some time.
Well, I mean, I grew up mid-peninsula. I went to Santa Clara. I lived in the city. I've lived pretty much my whole life between San Jose and San Francisco. So, it stands to reason. Yeah,
that's crazy. I lived in San Jose for quite some time, and I lived in the East Bay too, and figured I knew the Bay Area, but maybe I know things about the Bay Area that you don't know either. So
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, and I know a lot about Southern California too.
Everybody has their local knowledge. Absolutely.
There you go.
The beauty of it.
So Steve-O's here, says I'm in the building. We got Bebop. I love that name, Bebop. What was he saying? He was saying said something about Brock Purdy earlier. I forgot what it was. I don't know, but Yeah, I mean, we pretty much covered most of the things. I mean, we got to face Najee Harris as the running back. Hopefully, the run defense is up to par this coming game. It's a little bit of a worry of mine, but then again, we ran some vanilla defenses in the preseason. We know how preseason is. They shuffle
Najee's a
players.
lot more legit than a lot of people are giving him credit for. I'll
He's a
say
good
that.
player. Yeah, a lot of
Cool.
49er fans wanted to get him. I remember coming out. He's
I
also a
did.
Bay Area kid. He's a Bay Area guy.
Well,
So
because he can catch. He can run. He can catch. They got Deontay Johnson. They got George Pickens. They have two monster tight ends, Pat Fryermuth, who's pretty established, and then my draft crush, Darnell Washington out of Georgia, who's 6'8", like, I don't know, 260, 270.
I hear he's really good. Yeah.
Tackle's best friend. I wish we had gotten him. I mean, when we picked Ji'Ayir Brown 6 picks ahead of him, I was like, I couldn't believe he was still on the board 6 picks later. And I mean, I'm sure Jake Moody will work out, but man, Latu's already been redshirted for the year.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to draft DeJuan Jones in the 3rd round, and here comes Latu, who was looking kind of good in the preseason, but he's out for the year. And freaking Moody, we don't know what's going on with him.
Latu's a good blocker. He's a very good route runner. He gets a lot of separation. It's just the guy couldn't catch a cold until that one preseason game.
Yeah, he looked good in the preseason game.
Until the preseason game against the Broncos, where he and Lance caught fire there for a drive or two, and he caught a great third down conversion to a first, and obviously the big TD catch out to the right that was deflected. So I hope Latu works out, because otherwise I'm going to be drooling over Darnell Washington every time he does.
All right, so Steve-O, this is a little off topic, but I posted some pictures of me making some pizza dough. And when I make pizza dough, I use a dough starter that I made. It's like a 6-year-old dough starter that leaves in my fridge. Every time I make a new batch, every time I make a new dough batch, I throw some of that old dough starter in the new dough batch. And I posted the exact dough recipe that I use when I make my pizzas. I was like, hey, if anybody else wants to do the same recipe that I do, here's the recipe. And it's not my recipe. It's made by pizza chef Tony Gimiani. He owns Tony's Pizza in San Francisco. Also, owns a Slice House, a lot of Bay Area locations. And I use his recipe. It's been working like a charm.
Tony's Pizza.
Yeah, there you go. And it works like a charm. It's like, hey, this is what I use. Go ahead and try to use it yourself. So, Steve, I don't know if you made your own. You're saying that pizza crust is a shit. Did you make it yourself? Did you try it? That's what I want to know. And Latu, Fired Up 49ers says Latu was a bad pick, in my opinion. I thought we reached it for him initially. It did not look good, especially, I'm going to sound like a broken record again. We all know who I wanted in the draft, but when he was playing in that preseason game against the Broncos, I believe, the Broncos game when Lance was playing, he was making some strides, and I heard some good things about him in camp too. It wasn't like he was terrible, but again, to be out for the season, it seems like kind of a wasted pick. We could have gotten him later in the draft. Braden Willis, you know what? Let's talk about Braden Willis, because this is a guy who I heard so many good things about in OTAs and mini camps, and even at points in times in training camp. And then once the preseason came around, it's like I was expecting to see this guy. When are we going to see this guy? Because they said, he's got this yak ability, and I didn't see anything from him in the preseason. I don't know if they were purposely trying to hide him, but he's on the main roster now. What do you think of Braden Willis? Because you were at camp for a good portion of the time. And what did you see, that if you liked anything or if you didn't like?
Yeah, there was one day where he led all receivers with 4 catches. Another day where he had 4 targets. He has good hands. He runs good routes. He's a very good receiving tight end. He just blocking is not there yet. And so if they say no block, no rock for receivers, it's even more so for tight ends. So I think that's why Charlie Warner's ahead of him on the depth chart. But don't be surprised to see a little Braden Willis this Sunday. I would love to see him instead of Dwelly. He's just so much more dynamic than Dwelly. And Dwelly is no peach for blocking. I mean, Dwelly can play fullback, which is nice. He's got that versatility. And when you bring Dwelly like from the left side of the line across to the right, we saw him lay out Aaron Donald one time. So if he's got a running start, he can block okay. But if it's inline blocking, he is, he's no prize. So I'd love to see Braden Willis over Dwelly. But he's a rookie. Kyle doesn't trust rookies. I wouldn't expect to see a ton. But I hope we do. I hope we see some of them on Sunday, because I think, like, if there's one thing that could make me not worry so much about Darnell Washington, it'd be Braden Willis, balling out Sunday. I could do it.
Yeah, and there was Troy Fumagalli, who was looking pretty good in the preseason, I thought. He surprised me a bit. And a friend of mine's a Wisconsin Badger fan in college, and he was just telling me some good things about Troy Fumagalli in general.
Yeah, I
And,
thought he'd make the 53 man, but at least he made the
yeah.
practice squad.
Exactly. We released him and he made the practice squad. Had they picked him over Dwelly on the main roster, I would have been perfectly fine with that because I don't care for Dwelly at all. You know,
No.
Grant
But again,
Cohn
it's
can
that
talk to,
versatility. The thing with Warner and Dwelly have that the others don't is the special teams. They're proven special team standouts. You know, so that's part, and the blocking for Warner. So, you know, and Latu was the only chance of getting rid of Warner. And so once he went on season-ending IR, that means we're going to have Warner all season. Dwelly is the one I could see if Fumagalli gets pulled up and Willis is doing something worth keeping him. That well, I mean, we're not going to put. I don't think we'll put Braden Wilson on the practice squad. I think he showed too much in preseason, even though he's a 7th round pick. I think it'd be dangerous to expose him to the practice squad. Whereas Dwelly, I think we know no one's going to take Dwelly.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, I was just hoping to see Dwelly off the roster. That's why I was kind of bummed out that Latu was out for the season, especially since we didn't get the tackle that I wanted. But anyway, David McNider's here, says, "What's up, dude? What's good, Bashar and Ted? Let's go Niners. Great to see you." Yeah, I mean, you know, we all have certain players we like. We have certain players we don't like. There's certain players that you know, stick around this roster. I don't want to say like roaches or like fleas, or I don't want to be that mean, but I mean, like for example, like Dante Johnson was on this roster. Was it since 2014 till last year? This is the first season that we're going to start in quite some time where Dante Johnson isn't on our roster. So, you know, new second, we have a new defensive coordinator. He's like a secondary guru, Steve Wilkes. He's going to be coaching up from the booth. This will be very interesting. Some people in the preseason were complaining, "Oh, no, don't have Steve Wilkes in the booth. He needs to be on the field." Look, Steve Wilkes isn't a rah-rah guy anyways. So if that's where he wants to be and that's where he's comfortable, I get it. Was it Cam Inman? It was on with Raj, and he said something funny that like Steve Wilkes sits up in the booth because he has more access to food. When you're on the sidelines, you can't eat while watching the games, and he likes to eat while he's coaching or whatever. So, hey, whatever works, man. We got Cinnamon Kiss here. Says hi, Ted and Bashar. Great to see you, Cinnamon. What's
up, Cinnamon Kiss?
And Dwelly, David McNider says Dwelly had a scorching 3 catches last season. I know, right? He's a beast. We have to keep 53, but waste a roster spot. Yeah, exactly. That's how I look at it. But you know, he was saying about the special teams. But go ahead, Ted.
Sing Cinnamon reminded me that she sent Aaron a $9.99 super chat when he and I were doing our show. I guess it was a week ago, Wednesday, about 9 days ago, and she meant it for me. But you know, I didn't have super chat set up. I still don't yet. I'm still trying to unlock that.
Tell Aaron to send you the money via Venmo or something.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Venmo, I put a Venmo link in like my Twitter bio and in my about section for YouTube, and now in all my shows there's a Venmo link. So if people do want to contribute, there's an easy way to do that. It's just TedH6. It's the same thing. You can find me TedH6 on YouTube, Twitter, and Venmo, all the same handle. So
and mine, if anybody ever knows below where it says subscribe, it says @B dash 49er minded. That's my Venmo. It's always in the description box of my videos too. We got Panama Queen. She says, "Bash and Ted, great to see you." And Panama getting some love in the chat. Fired Up 49er says Vic Fangio was a booth DC D coordinator and everybody wanted him. Yeah, exactly. Isn't that kind of funny? And like, we got enough rah-rah guys on the sidelines anyways. I mean, you can't get more rah-rah, motivational, whatever you want to call it, than Chris Kocurek on the sidelines. And Chris Kocurek is kind of like, he's sort of like the assistant D coordinator on the sidelines pretty much, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He's cursing expletives like left and right. Every other word's a curse word.
And when I saw Chris Kocurek at training camp, I had to walk up to him right away because I'm a huge fan of the guy. Like, I totally admire his work, what he's done for the 49ers defensive linemen. And then when you watch him on any NFL films type video or any video, whether it be on Twitter or wherever, he is the most fired up coach I can think of in NFL history. This guy gets more fired up than people that I remember. I mean, when I was playing the game, just like he's crazy, and he's so nice and so humble when you meet him too. He's so friendly. He had a smile on his face the whole time. It was definitely a pleasure meeting him. So I was definitely thankful for that. And
should we do some predictions, lock some things down here before the season starts?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do that. So because we can wrap things up pretty soon. We've been on here for quite some time.
Oh, I mean, I'm in no rush, but I thought you were kind of hinting towards that earlier. And
I wasn't, but I had it in mind at least for like for the scores, for example, for the score of the game.
yeah,
I'll just I'll say this. I'm not picturing a blowout. We may be facing the rain, so it's a road game as well. The Steelers do play very well home openers on the road. I do see us as the better team. Now Tomlin's an excellent coach. I get that. So Kyle Shanahan's going to have his workout for him. What up, Niner Gang podcast? Dion, I see, says good afternoon, fellas. Great to see you, bro. Love collabing with this guy. He's he never hides his emotions and never, he's got a lot of pride, and I really, really admire that and appreciate that. But as far as the Niner game and the Steelers, Pittsburgh, I'm saying 28-19 is what I'm predicting for myself. And who knows? I'd love a blowout. Blowouts, but I'd rather be wrong. Kenny says 20-24 Niners. So, okay. And do you have a score prediction there?
I'm going to say Niners 31 and Steelers 27.
Okay. So you're saying 4 points. I don't know what the Vegas line's looking like either. If anybody knows,
2.5 or 3.
Okay,
3.5
or 3.
I'll look it up.
Okay. There you go. He's going to look it up, and you guys can drop your score predictions in the chats. Another prediction of mine as far as who's going to score the first touchdown. Do you have that in mind as well, Ted? Who do you think is going to score the first touchdown? I said
Debo.
Oh, you said Debo. Okay.
Yeah.
Donald Johnson said Debo will be snatching some chains. There's a song by what's his name? Why am I forgetting his name? Travis King. If you guys know that 49er hip hop song called 49er Faithful Ride With Me by Travis King, that's a pretty cool song. He also has another song called Debo, and in the song he starts saying I'm gonna snatch some chains or something like that. I'll be snatching them chains, or I forgot how he says it, but it's funny.
Aaron's here.
Okay, Aaron's here. 49ers first. The guy who didn't want to sing Happy Birthday. That guy. Just kidding.
That guy. You missed it, Aaron. But Bash sang me Happy Birthday. So there's that.
I took one for the team.
You did a good job.
Really? Yeah. I don't know. I feel
it's great.
I tried. Rich Hidalgo, what's up, bro? Welcome to the show. You're over on Ted's chat. It says 21-17 Niners. Okay, cool. We got Scott Hill. He said, welcome to the channel. I haven't seen you before. It says, what's up, fellas? 24-21 Niners. Cool. I like that. Oh, Donald Johnson saying going 28-7 Niners. Frank
Wow.
Tom Ocean saying, what's up to Aaron? Cool. So I'm saying CMC will get the first touchdown for the San Francisco 49ers. It's going to be either through the ground or through the air, or who knows? He may throw one. You never know. CMC is a man. Too. Oh, yeah. I mean,
all the same.
And it's going to be nice to see Debo and CMC in the backfield once again. That will always cause linebackers fits. Crossing my fingers about Elijah Mitchell this season. I love the guy. Great, a very, very good player. Just, people in this NFL, man, if you're not on the field, though, you can have all the talent in the world, man. If you're not on the field, you're going to be seen as a nobody. So I don't want him to be viewed that way. He's got way too much talent to be viewed in a negative manner. So hopefully we have
Aaron. You're not a horrible person, and you're not. But you do sing other songs, so I mean, I don't know.
He has mimicked a few other songs. I know. Aaron, you're more of like a '80s classic rock guy. It's it's safe to say that. I don't hear much from you in terms of hip hop or anything or R&B. Maybe unless it's something really, really old. But one thing I do like about Aaron, though. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a hip hop reference, but it kind of is. Well, there's a song called it with the same title. Whenever he talks about players making a certain move, like a running back or a linebacker, or a wide receiver, and he makes a move and it leaves the defender in their boots, Aaron's like, yeah, he kind of does the stanky leg. He does a stanky leg. And there's like an old hip hop dance called the stanky leg, and there's a song to it. So it always cracks me up whenever Aaron makes that stanky leg reference. So shout out to you.
Say you left their jock in the dirt or their D in the dirt.
Oh, that's what he says too. Okay.
No, that's what we used to say back in the 80s.
Oh, okay, got it. Frank Tom Ocean says Elijah Mitchell first touchdown. Okay, there you go. I hope so. That'd be nice, man. I want to be wrong with my prediction. I'd love to see Mitchell be very productive this year. Master Eddie Craft says 27-14, and we got Donald Johnson saying Debo looking healthy this year. I'm excited to see him do what he does with CMC and Brandon Ayuk. Me too. As far as other predictions, though, I don't know. I mean, we did the hot takes. I don't know if you have any other predictions in mind, but go ahead and we can follow through with that.
Well, I mean, I kind of released. I think the Niners will win the NFC West. I've got us in the NFC Championship against the Cowboys. I've got us in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And like I said earlier in the show, if we're healthy and Purdy's playing 2022 or better, then we're beating the Chiefs. But that's a big if. So, I mean, I'm not really making a Super Bowl prediction now. I got to wait and see
It's
where
too
we
early
are.
for me.
Yeah. But I mean, I have been very vocal about saying Kyle's on my SHI you-know-what list until he wins his first ever Super Bowl. He better be right about Darnold, and he better be right about Purdy, because he kind of just installed those guys.
I'm going to role play right now. I'm going to play a character. What are you talking about? Kyle's on the hot seat. What do you mean, man? We've been going to the playoffs all these years. We were in the NFC Championship game. So if you want us to fire Kyle, then that means that we're only going to have Chip Kelly and Jim Tomasula coach his team. What are you talking about?
Go be a Cowboys fan. Go be a Cowboys fan. Oh God, yeah.
And that's the new narrative now. It's like it's all those other things. Jim Kelly, Tomasula. You hate Kyle. You want him fired, and go be a Cowboys fan. It's all packed in the one.
I don't want him fired. I just want him to learn. Do better, Kyle. Do better. That's it. I don't want to fire you. Not yet. But I'm getting there.
Everybody has the same old script, same old song and dance. It's like, is there any originality? Come on, guys. And like,
people
we're just
talk about me flipping on Jimmy G. Well, guess what? It's happened with Kyle. It was week 3 of 2021 with Jimmy G against the Green Bay Packers. That was the final Jimmy G. I was off that train, and I'm officially off Kyle's train until he wins the Super Bowl as of the Lance trade date. That was when it happened.
Yeah. Look, I've made so many excuses for Kyle. I've yelled and screamed at other Niner fans defending Kyle, and I'm burnt out, and I'm to the point where like Kyle right now, you're on your own, bro. Real talk, man.
Make
I'm
it
giving
happen.
him 2 years. I want to see a Super Bowl in these next 2 years. And if the 49ers happen to go another direction in those 2 years, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. I'm like, okay, whatever. And trust me, there will be plenty of good candidates available with this roster that the 49ers have built. Even in 2 years from now, there will be plenty. It won't be only Chip Kelly or only Tomasula, that same old song and dance that we keep hearing.
Well, keep in mind, part of the problem with Chip Kelly and Tomasula was Trent freaking Baalke screwing up that whole roster for them. So they would have done a lot better if they had Adam Peters picking their players. So keep that in mind too, folks.
And look, as far as Kyle goes, we know that he has cracked in pressure situations, and he can be the smartest guy in terms of scheming up offensive plays, drawing people open and all that. But for example, like in the Eagles playoff game, I mean, he should have thrown the challenge flag. It's only the first half. Who cares? I mean, if you value your timeouts so much, you value your timeouts in the second half of an NFL game where the game's closing down to the wire. The first half, it's not that big of a deal to lose a timeout on a challenge, and that challenge, and you're basically preventing them from scoring a touchdown if you are successful on that challenge. That was a 4th down play. Niner Game Podcast, Dion says, I was told that we need luck along with the stellar squad. We have to win, and I mean literal luck, and not Andrew Luck. Who was it? I hate to picture this. I just see you and a Christian going back and forth with Beto and on the Forever Faithful podcast, Dion, and I know those, especially Christian, kept mentioning luck is the reason why we haven't been winning. But at the end of the day, man, do you think NFL GMs and coaches, when they have their conversations about why they were successful or why they did things, do you think they talk about luck? I don't think they do.
I know. I think luck's important, but hard work and doing the right things can lead to a lot of luck. I'll just say that. Or good fortune, if you want to call it that. I think fortune is sort of the mix of luck and hard work. So no, I mean, everybody needs a little luck to win a Super Bowl, but I'm tired of the excuses. And if we're too good, to develop Trey Lance, then we better be good enough to win a Super Bowl. And I'm not giving it 2 years. It's got to be this year, 1 year, Kyle. You have till the end of 2023. Well, February of 2024 to be specific. After that, then I'll be full bore anti-Kyle at that point.
I'm saying 11-6 this year, regular season. Who knows?
I think I'm back up to 12-5. The Bosa thing, I was at 13-4, and the negative 20 rest days got me down. The second most travel in the NFL. The 4 teams off buys, but Hargrave is huge, and I'm just feeling good about the Bosa signing, and I'm just going to hope that Purdy can be 2022 or maybe even a little better. And I'm going to say 12-5. I predicted, here's what my predictions were. I said Niners win the West, Eagles win the East, Saints win the South, Lions win the North. And then for wild cards, I had Cowboys, Bears, and the Seahawks. But then, so I have the Cowboys beating the Eagles in the playoffs, and we get the Cowboys at home, beat them, and go to the Super Bowl. And then for AFC, I've got Jets winning the East. But so my two flips are like, it could be the Eagles, it could be the Cowboys, and the NFC East could be the Jets, Bills. I talked about that earlier in the show. For the AFC East, obviously West, I got the Chiefs, South, Jags, North, Bengals, and then wild card, I got Bills, Ravens, Steelers. But Bills could be the AFC East, and Jets could be a wild card. But I got both those teams getting in the playoffs, along with the Ravens and Steelers.
Hey, I'm not going to argue with as far as those division winners. They maybe the Saints. I'm not sure. I didn't study that the Saints division too much, but so far it's kind of because I think the Lions look pretty good. Wouldn't surprise me
actually,
at all.
You know what? As long as I'm just putting it on wax here, now that I look at the Steelers, if I've got the Steelers, then I don't have the Chargers. So I'm going to put the Chargers instead of the Steelers. I'm going to say Bills, Ravens, Chargers as wild cards.
I know you talked to me about Chandler Jones. Tell me, I saw some weird. I don't know. He made a video of himself in the dark, saying some things that did not make any sense, and it was on Twitter. And if anybody can make sense of what he was saying, maybe you or somebody in the chat can clear that up for me. That's fine. I have no idea what's going on with Chandler Jones mentally. Hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he's fine. You're saying the Raiders might cut him. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And was he even any good last year? I know he was really good on the Cardinals, and I remember seeing him in short little spurts on the Raiders. But
even as last year with the Cards, I think he had like 9 sacks or something, or 10-ish. But like 5 came in one game, so that kind of discounts that a little bit when it's not consistent production. And like just the fact that, people don't get rid of good edges. So if the Cards were willing to part with him, he's either not that good or there's something wrong with him mentally. And now he's doing weird stuff with the Raiders. I think it's enough red flags that I'd say we don't want him, even though he's probably better than Cleveland Farrell or any of our.
So 15 games last year, he racked up 4.5 sacks. Keep in mind he's 33 now, so
that's on the Raiders, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the Raiders.
It's on the Raiders. I mean, but he is up there in age, So
they have Max Crosby, who's no Bosa, and then not much else on that D line. So I
like Max Crosby's game a lot. Though I wish we had drafted him in those later rounds like the Raiders did, and that would have been a nice duo with Bosa.
Took a lot of the sting.
You're saying he was hurt the last 2 years. I don't know. I don't know if they took a flyer on Chandler Jones because he's not acting right, and the 49ers are really big on high character guys, and I don't know. And he's not playing weak. He's not playing his first game. I know that. Okay, Charles Haley wasn't mentally there either, but the 49ers are the last team that picks up guys like that. You got to remember that. So it is what it is. Carcast, what's up, Carcast? Good to see you. Nobody's levitating today. I'm sorry to disappoint you. Dion says this. He says it's simple: 51-47. He's talking about Kyle's record, win-loss record. No Super Bowl wins, only an appearance in 3 NFC Championship games and 3 losing seasons. That's not good enough. We need a damn ring. I agree. We definitely do. That'd be nice. Hopefully Kyle can redeem himself and win us more than 1 ring, or win a ring at least. Who knows? Because again, I've made so many excuses for Kyle so damn long, and I reached my breaking point where if I can't make excuses for the guy anymore. But I'll probably give him a 2-year window because that's when his extension comes up anyways, and that's what it is. And people got mad at me when I put out the speculation that I bet Jed York told John and Kyle something. Was it the rated? So the Chargers post game interviews or whatever. Those guys did not look right in the press conference. I don't care what anybody says. Either John York or Jed York got in their ear and told them something that they didn't like to hear. They did not look comfortable. I'm sorry. And if you're going to be in a fantasy land and think that nobody told them anything, go ahead. You may have no idea how the real world works. And I'm sorry, the working world that is. Sugarnut says running play action against Philly. Their ends didn't even look at the running back. Just went straight to the quarterback. And Hassan Reddick in that playoff run, Hassan Reddick did not regard the running back at all. He just ran upfield to go towards the quarterback. And I don't know how Kyle did not notice that when he was scheming things up. And to draw up plays that just takes so long to develop is just ridiculous. I don't get that. And, Brock Purdy could have been healthy and maybe we could have won and went to the Super Bowl. And who knows what would have happened if we played the Chiefs. We'll see. Sugarnut said Niners only sign altar boys. Some people say that I'm a choir boy. Maybe if I was good enough to play college football, maybe they would sign me. I don't know. Even though I do go on my little pissy rants sometimes, I start dropping F-bombs. Aaron says, I'm not mentally there either. Join the club. Okay, hey, man, I struggle sometimes too. It is what it is. I know we all kind of struggle.
Most people do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, anything else you want to bring up? He was bringing up the Chandler Jones thing, and just I was dropping a few comments, and anything else you want to add to that? Or
I would say steer clear of him. I think the juice is not worth the squeeze at this point with that cat. Let him go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, it will be nice to pick up another pass rusher, though. I mean, we dropped again. Going back to Austin Bryant, we released
maybe
him.
Jason Pierre-Paul or Carlos Dunlap. There's other guys out there that don't have
JPP still available?
Last I heard.
Okay, that's interesting.
He may last a couple weeks into the season until somebody gets injured.
Yeah, he's 34. So with Jason Pierre-Paul, he was on the Baltimore Ravens last year. He had 3 sacks. The year before, he had 2.5 sacks. So looks like 2020 was his last good season, 9.5 sacks, if you think about it.
And that was with the Ravens, right? I mean, the
Tampa Bay. With Tampa Bay, the Super Bowl year.
Vita Vea. And they had a really
nice pass rush, man. They gave Mahomes a big time run for his money in that Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't even say this with a straight face. I'm going to try to read this comment. He said, had I worked out all 4 years of high school, I would have been the all-pro fullback. Okay, got it. Okay.
Just like
you're saying he'd definitely be a difference maker. Who are you referring to, Aaron?
I think he means Chandler Jones.
No, Chandler Jones. I mean, I'd like to take him for his previous accomplishments. I just don't know if he's the same player anymore. Maybe the 49ers don't think he is. I mean, he's still on the Raiders roster currently, so until they actually cut him, he'll be available. So he's currently unavailable. That is, that's pretty much it. So I mean, yeah. So we covered our score predictions. Aaron, if anybody's here late, you could drop your score predictions because I said mine was 28-19. What was yours, Ted?
31-27.
31-27. If anybody else wants to drop some score predictions, we can read them out loud. If we missed you guys, go ahead and yeah. I mean, who do you think gets the first sack for the Niners?
I'll go with Hargrave.
You go with Hargrave. Okay, I'm gonna go with the no-brainer. It's gonna be Bosa. So the Steve Wilkes is known to be a blitzer. It's gonna be very interesting to see how he runs his blitz packages. We had a nice little blitz from Fred Warner in the preseason. Then when he got that sack, he did Bosa. He did some Bosa signal or whatever, and then he was like, "Pay him" or something like that. So that was kind of cool. And hey, we eventually did get Bosa. People were worried that we weren't going to have Bosa for the first game of the season, and the stress levels of Niner fans this off season have been a roller coaster ride. And once we finally got Bosa, I noticed a lot of tension. Like, was just calm. A lot of us calmed down and. We're like, okay, we're about to play this game against Pittsburgh. Let's go. And here comes some score predictions right here. James Durnall says 14-10. Okay. He's not expecting much for offense, so that's not going to be a fun game to watch if that's the case. Aaron's saying 31-28. You got Cinnamon Kiss 28-17, similar to what I was saying, a little bit different. Tommy saying 27-16. And yeah, I'm pretty sure everybody's picking Niners. Who sits there goes into the game and doesn't? We never pick our, who picks the opposing team? We have to pick our team, and unless we're playing like a total juggernaut and we're just total ass that year, I understand. But we got ourselves.
I was picking the Steelers to win when Bosa wasn't signed, and Kittle looked like he might not play. I mean, if Kittle and Charvarius Ward don't play. That might change up my thing, but for now I'm going 31-27 Niners.
So you're saying Charvarius Ward might not play, Mooney Ward?
Yeah, he's got a heel injury that he sustained.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. And Kyle said it wasn't serious and he thought he'd play, but he's questionable, and so is Kittle, and we've seen questionable guys not play. So
true, we have exactly. Dion from 90 Game Podcast says 30-14. Okay, so it looks like we're going to wrap things up. We've been out here for a lot longer than I thought we would. We're at the hour and a half mark. That's basically the length of a feature film. Hopefully we brought some entertainment value to us. I know it's hard to compete with the major motion picture box office, but we're trying, or with the major networks, that is. Great to have everybody show up in the chat. We appreciate all the comments. You guys, are always here. We always shout you guys out. And happy birthday to you again, Ted. Dave McNiner says 21 to 29ers. I did pick the Steelers prior to the Bosa signing. Okay, so he's another one. Okay. Yeah, I mean, with Bosa not in the lineup, I was worried. I was a bit worried. I was like, is Steve Wilkes going to have to drop all kinds of crazy blitz packages to make up for it? Who knows? It's gonna be one thing I mentioned the run defense earlier. One thing I am worried about really quick is that Bosa is gonna be really effective on a third and long type situation, and hopefully we get the Steelers into third and long situations, not these 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1s. With the run game looking like crap. So,
well, with the run D though, we really didn't see much of the A team together for the defense, and even Kinlaw, who had some troubles in the preseason. He didn't have much help on that D-line. So it's not like he's going to get double teamed nearly as much in a real game as he did in the preseason. So I'm kind of a little more bullish on Kinlaw than a lot of people. But if he can stay healthy, I think he'll have a decent season as a rotational piece for us. I like Kalia Davis. We might pull up T.Y. McGill also off the practice squad. Obviously, we got Givens. Obviously Armstead, Hargrave are studs. So I'm not so worried about the run D.
Yeah, hope maybe, who knows, there might be some nice D tackle that we could pick up.
We do need a space eater. We need
some big, huge 345-pound dude.
Type.
Yeah, I wish we'd pick up at least one guy like that. That'd be nice.
Will Fork
again.
Food.
Go ahead and tell everybody about your channel, what you got going on. If you have anything going on, let them know.
I've been trying to get some Steelers creators on. I might try and work something out for tomorrow. But it's been tough with schedules. Usual is No BS Ted with Ryan on Tuesdays at 3:30, and obviously Aaron first and Ted with Aaron on Wednesdays at 3:30. And then my usual Thursday show, we're rescheduling that to another day. Pedro has a 3 p.m. work call now that's popped up, and then obviously you and me a week from today, 3 p.m., 6 p.m. Eastern.
Cool. Yeah. So every Friday at 3:00 is the Ball and Bash and Ted. On Tuesdays is the Bring the Heat podcast that we rotate. Sometimes it's on my channel. Sometimes it's on Mariah's 49er Faithful League channel. Sometimes it's on No Border Sports channel. This Tuesday it'll be on 49er Faithful League podcast with Mariah. It'll be on her channel. So definitely check it out. There's a few people that I try to bring on and having issues with rescheduling. So hopefully I'm starting this probably the week after the Steelers game, or maybe for the Steelers post game show. I might have some people on. I like to do post game shows. I just don't have set times for them. So just be on my Twitter, be on the community tab of my YouTube channel. That's where I'll post information for my upcoming lives, and also on my 49er Minded Facebook group. If you're on there, you can always check there. I always have the updates for my lives. So, every now and then I try to bring certain nice guests that I have on, and first timer guests, and sometimes they'll promote certain things. So if I do have anything like that coming up, I'll let you know. I do have some people in mind to bring on. It's just all a matter of finding time when they can come on and, try to make it happen in terms of their schedules and my schedule. So we'll see how it is. But again, thank you guys for watching Ball with Bash and Ted on the 49er Mind channel, where we get into the minds of 49er fans. Keep repping those 49ers and stay 49er minded. Peace. Let's go.
Peace.
Let's beat the Steelers.
Go Niners.
Come on, 49er faithful. Let's get it.
Because it's 49er mind.
We gotta do this one time for the Empire.
It's 49er mind. It's 49er mind.
We gotta get that brick by brick done quick.
49er mind.
Yeah. Yo, we can't listen to them haters, man.
49er mind.
We from the Bay.
49er mind.
We them San Francisco 49ers.
49er mind.
We got that red and gold blood inside us.
49er mind.